Bonjour. Hello, I'm Margaret Zientek. I'm co-chair for Public Law 102477. I have served with my tribe for 27 years, and since the year 2000, I've been co-chair for the tribal work group. One of the key statements made earlier, when allowed to function as Congress intended, the 477 program has been a model of success that we hope will be emulated and expanded across federal programs. There are some issues, there are some successes. I hope to briefly tell you both. Opportunities, the expansion of self-determination and administrative flexibilities. President Biden's Executive Order 14112 on reforming federal funding and support for tribal nations to better embrace our trust responsibilities and promote the next era of tribal self-determination. We applaud that step. We also want to recognize that the Department of Interior and Division of Workforce Development has, over the last couple years, stepped fully into its role as lead agency under the 477 statute as amended. And the best example is the 2023 MOA, the modification of the MOA to correct it. They've supported tribes, and as you heard, Bryan Newland, Assistant Secretary of State, they have very limited staff and are facing a lot of interest. They need help. I'm hoping that through Appropriations Committee, we can help them. The work group is also pleased to note that more programs have been included. You've heard those already. There is a reduction in reporting burden. It is a positive that tribes took, if those 44 programs we operated were held outside of 477, that's 153 separate reports down to one 3-part report. It is a simplified grant process. Renewal, we're still working on that. We do have some that have used that well. WIOA, Department of Labor, HHS Community Services Block Grant, and I hope most recently working with Title 4B will get there. We have challenges. Unlawful holding of funds by DOJ. You've heard that already spelled out, and threatening that they believe they have authority to not move those funds. Delayed funds transfer. There has been a significant problem with certain agencies and programs transferring funds to BIA. We understand one tribal organization right now is waiting for almost 2 years for a Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency to move those funds. Other tribes seem to have issues with Bureau of Indian Education funds. In your home state of New Mexico, Laguna Pueblo was one who suffered from that in 2000 at the height of the pandemic. 2 years of funds had been held, sent to Central, but never sent to the tribe. There was a failure to reallocate PEEF, Pandemic Emergency Assistance Programs. First, DHHS TANF said, you can't put that in 477. Then tribes advocated why they put it in 477. Then they wanted separate reporting. We advocated and explained you can't do that. That's contrary to 477. And then because they couldn't identify what funds might be available for reauthorization, again against 477 law, tribes were not allowed to participate in the reauthorization or the distribution of those funds. Unlawful meddling in tribal hires, citing 2 CFR 200 Uniform Guidance Regulations. Some federal agencies, including the Department of Education, have been requiring federal approval for personnel decisions made by tribes and tribal organizations operating pursuant to a Public Law 102477 plan. This is contrary to the letter and spirit of the 477 statute, and nothing in Part 200 regulation allows or requires. There is inconsistent compliance supplement. The May 2023 OMB compliance supplement has detailed requirements regarding the investment of 477 funds. However, 25 USC 3413 G2 requires that only those funds are managed in accordance with the prudent investment standards. We're asking OMB to correct that immediately. Failure to provide a labor force report. That was in the law in 2017. We've yet to see one, and we need that. It is potentially affecting funding for tribes. In conclusion, I thank you for that chance. I do want to restate something that Assistant Secretary Bryan Newland stated. He referred to It is limited in scope. Tribes determine what is related, determining eligibility. So tribes determine employment training and what is a related service. It is up to tribes to make that. And I thank you for your time.